Life can be hard, can't it? No real spoiler alert there, no real news flash. We all know life can be hard. In fact, for all of us, there will be seasons of life where life is just difficult, where we have to face things we don't want to face, where there is unfairness, where there is stuff in our lives that we wish wasn't there. None of us is exempt. We will all go through seasons in life where we will have to face difficulties. We will have to go through a storm. And what happens in those times is important. And what happens to you is not nearly as important as what happens in you. Because when you're in a difficult season of life, when you're in a trial, when you're in a storm, you get to choose what that does inside of you, what that does to you. You can be a better person because of your storm, or you can be a bitter person. You can give up, or you can grow up. You can become who God wants you to be, or you can just get a hard heart and be mad all the time. What happens in you is way more important than what happens to you. And even if today you're in a good season of life and there are no difficulties facing you today, that's great. You should be thankful and rejoice. However, you know, just like the rest of us, that there's a storm coming. For all of us, there is always another storm coming. There is always another difficulty coming. There is always another challenge coming. And so as Jesus followers, we need to be prepared, and we need to, before the storm gets here, know how we're going to respond. Choose how we will respond. Set an environment in our heart and in our mind where whatever it is that we're facing makes us a better person, makes us into the person God needs us to be, helps us grow our faith, not give up on our faith. And in Acts chapter 9, there's a great little story. Paul was being transported across the Mediterranean Sea on a little boat to Rome. And something happened along his journey. A lot of things happened, and we're going to look at these difficulties that he had to face, because some of these things were just crazy that he and his shipmates had to face. But in Acts chapter 9, as they're sailing along, we know that they hadn't seen the sun for 14 days. So clouds had been covering the sky for 14 days. They couldn't really get their bearings. They didn't really know where they were. And Paul says the ship was caught by the storm. We could not head into the wind, so we gave way to it, and we were driven along. So the ship that was carrying Paul and these other people, they couldn't figure out where they were going. They had no point of reference. And when the storm came, they didn't know which way to point their ship, so they just gave up. They stopped rowing. They put the sails down and let the storm carry them wherever they wanted to go. They drifted away. And when you drift away, you have no control, you have no bearings, you have no direction in life. You can end up wherever the storm wants to take you. And that's a dangerous place to be. And it turns out to be a dangerous place for Paul. Today we call that coasting. We just like to coast through life, not really have a direction, not really have any marker points, but just coast through life. And that's great and that's fun as long as you're going downhill. Because you can only coast downhill. Once you hit flat spots, or once you hit a spot where you have to climb, well, you can't coast anymore. So you need a plan. You need a point of direction. You need something as your bearing. And I would say to you that if when you face your next storm, don't drift, don't coast. Fix your point of focus. Fix your anchor. Make sure you know where your life is headed, where you're going, what your dreams are, what your ambitions are. Be purposeful and intentional about keeping your eyes on Jesus. Be purposeful and intentional about using this storm as an opportunity to grow and to get to be a better person. Be purposeful and intentional. These words are what get you through life and get you through storms and get you to the other side a better person. A person with deeper faith, a person who doesn't give up. So my challenge to all of us today, even if you're not in a difficult circumstance, is get ready for a difficult circumstance. Be ready for the storm by making a commitment. Whenever I face challenges, whenever I face difficulties, I'm not going to drift through them. I'm not going to just let them take me wherever they want to take me. I'm going to keep my eyes on Jesus until the storm is over, and then we'll refocus and we'll start moving again. If you're in a difficult place today, one of the most important things you can remember to keep your eyes on is that Jesus is with you. He will never leave you. He will take care of you. So let's talk this week about what to do when you face the storms of life. See you.